Hello dear students, myself Miss Pranali Kakad, working as an assistant professor at Information Technology branch in Matoshri College of Engineering and Research Center. I welcome you all in our new course named as Database Management Systems DBMS. This course is included in a 2015 pattern for third year information technology students. Teaching scheme for this subject is theory lectures, 4 theory lectures per week. Examination schemes, in-same examination for 30 marks and end-same examination for 70 marks. And credit for this course is 4. Before starting to new subject, dear student, always one question arises in our mind that why we will study this subject. For this, first of all, we see how DBMS is having more importance in recent trends. Dear student, there is a current trends in a database, that is, data is the future. How? As every organization digitally get transformed, the world of management and administration is rapidly changing. Database management systems are changing rapidly and adapting to the modern IT needs. The new world of database technology like cloud, analytics, data security, NoSQL, SQLite, PostgreSQL, MySQL, Syllabus, IBM DB2, all these new trends are offering or affecting on the database administrator, and there are roles for more important in many modern organizations such as IBM, Infosys, TCS, such as. There are some key trends like data growth. We already see in every second, there are lots of data gets generated. So this data growth, artificial intelligence, cloud, IoT, data security, all these new trends or field gives the more important to the database administrator or database management system. As this new technology produces billions of data, and for manage that data, store that data, retrieve the data or analysis of that data plays the important role. Hence we said that data is the future for all of us. Dear student, there are increasingly many companies such as Facebook, Twitter, Google, Microsoft, Oracle. All these company wants to become a data driven. Why? Because let's take an example of Twitter. Twitter doesn't generate any data. They are use or manipulate or analysis on the data provided by the user and publish that data. Means they are working on a actual text or images, that is data. So using this millions or lots of amount of data gets generated from the user, they are perform an analysis task on data mining tasks. All these operation get performed by this branded companies, and they, dear student, working on this data, they earn millions and billions. Am I right? Yes, because there are huge amount of data gets generated in every sector, and therefore there's many companies see themselves as a data driven. Working on data, they are earn millions and billions rupees. Hence, dear student, there is a the databases. Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, Google, industry working on data. Startup needs right away. and earn dollars, many millions and billions dollars for you. Intellectual means science is regards with a data poor to data rich. Means what? Data analysts working on a data. They are transform data to information. Means they at a pure level they are no idea how to handle the data. Fundamental ideas to form a computer system started in a DBMS. That is all information, artificial intelligence, logic, state, analysis, all these are the basic block of DBMS. Therefore, dear students, as we see in IT sector or in every sector, there is a lots of data gets generated every seconds. Therefore, in every new technology, that is cloud, IoT, all these are required a data management or data administrator, and for this purpose database have a more important in a today's situation. Therefore, dear student, these are the some course objective for the database management system course. These are listed here. Understand the fundamental concept of database management. This concept include database design, database languages, database system implementation. To provide a strong formal foundation in a database concept, technology and practice. To give a systematic database design, to covering conceptual design, logical design and physical design for the database. These course objectives are considered in aspect of user also, in aspect of programmer also, and in aspect of database administrator also. After this, the course objective for DBMS is familiar with the basic issues of transaction processing, concurrency control, learn different transaction and concurrency control mechanism, to learn and understand various database architecture and application, understand how analytics and big data affect the various function now, in a present and in the future also. So dear student, after completion of this course, you will able to define a basic function of DBMS and RDBMS. DBMS is a database management system. RDBMS is a relational database management system. Analyze the database models, entity relationship model, object model, relational model, all these database models in detail. Design and implement a database schemas for a given problem domain. There is a one problem domain and you should able to decide which data model solve which type of problem. Populate and query a database using SQL, DML and DDL commands. After completion of this course, you are able to write a different type of queries as aspect of the programmer. Programming PLSQL including store procedures, store function, cursors and packages. These are the basic building block of SQL, that is structural query language. Okay, appreciate the impact of analytics and big data on the information industry and external ecosystem for analytical and data services. These are the, after completing your database management system course, dear student, you will able to do all these tasks on your own. These are the course content for your course. Our course included 6 units. First unit is named as Introduction to DBMS. Second unit is named as Database Design and SQL. Third unit is named as Query Processing and Database Transaction. Fourth unit is related to the concurrency control and advanced databases. Fifth unit is related to the large scale and data management. Last sixth unit is related to the data warehousing and data mining techniques. So after completion of this course, dear student, you are definitely having a deep knowledge of database, the system structure of database, how database get designed, the SQL language, structural query language for your databases, and how large scale industry manage their own database, and there are data mining and data warehousing concept also we are learning in a sixth unit. So these are the course contents or units for your database management system course. Now we will take a quick review of all this unit. Your first unit is Introduction to DBMS. Dear student, first, what is data? What is information? What is database? What is database management systems? These all are the introductory part of your database. And why we study the database systems? Why not file processing? So all these points are gets covered in an introductory part. There are different data models are available. In that model, entity relationship model, relational model, relational algebra, object oriented model, all these models we will see in detail. There are entity relationship model, entity relationship diagrams are also there for a particular real life problems or for a particular database. Relational models, relational integrity and relational algebra. These all are concepts we will cover in a first unit. Next is database design and SQL. Now in a second unit we design, there are two ways to design any database. First is ER diagram and second is normalization. We covered the ER diagram in a first unit, and second unit is based on a normalization concept. So why normalization is needed, how normalization get performed, what are the different types of normalization, we are cover in a second unit, database in the point database design. And the second main part of the second unit is structural query language. Dear student, in the second unit you are getting a knowledge of one programming language, that is SQL. Till now in a second year we are learning C, C++, Java, some little bit amount of Java also. And here in a DBMS, how we are communicate with a database using SQL, structural query language. And all the data types, tables, views, different type of queries, join, all join, group by, all these are get covered in the second part of the second unit. Your third part is related to the query processing, transaction, serializability, embedded SQL, dynamic SQL, advanced SQL, and programming in a MySQL also. Okay, so all the query processing and database transaction parts are comes under your third unit. Fourth unit is related to concurrency control, recovery method, database architecture, introduction to the distributed database. Dear student, what is concurrency? What is transaction serializability? All we cover one by one in our video lecture series. Your fifth unit is depend upon the large scale data management. As the name suggests, how in an industry work with the databases, how manage the big large scale industry their own databases using Hadoops, big data, XML technique, or introduction to the HBase. All these points we will cover in a fifth unit. And the last unit is related to the data warehousing and data mining. These are the introductory part of the data warehousing and data mining. Introduction to machine learning for the big data and introduction to machine learning for business intelligence. All these we will cover in a sixth unit. So, dear student, these are the some textbooks and the reference books for you. This is a database system concept book, textbook, and this is a very important textbook written by Abraham and Henry Korth. So dear student, this is a very basic and important book for you. After reading this book, you definitely having a core knowledge of database management systems. We refer this book, these two books for our video lecture series. So dear student, after listening very big word, database management system, big data, data warehouses, data mining, so actually this is the need to introduce from the basic part of the database management system, and I think this video covers all your basic concepts such as what is known as data, what is database, what is database management systems. So dear student, what is data? First of all, data means it is a fact or raw material. Means any text, any number, any video, images, speech. I am now delivering a video lecture for you. This is also a one type of data. Okay, so this video, images, speech, audio file, these all are the facts or the raw material. So dear student, text and numbers are also known as traditional data, but video, images, speech and audio files are the multimedia data. Why? Because whenever I delivering a video lecture for you, in that one video for a seconds, after going to the properties of any type of video, you will notice that there is one frame rate per second. Means dear student, for a 1 second, suppose the frame rate for my video is 20, means for a 1 second there are 20 frames for this video, right? So this 20 frames are the data, and this is a 20 for 1 second. The 20 frames are get introduced one by one for you, but you are seeing a one single video, but beyond that video there are number of frames are gets generated. The combinations of frames on a timely manner produces a one video. So this is known as multimedia data. In video, images are also there and voice are also there. So also this is a multimedia data. So data is a facts or the raw material. Then now what is database? So dear student, data is a raw or material or facts, but database is a collection of interrelated data and set of program to access that data. Means what? In database, suppose I am talking that I am going back, means what? My synchronization of images and voice is interrelated. Interrelated means what? They are relevant to each other. Now suppose let's take an example of relational database. In that database there are number of tables are there. Suppose I want to store information of you for your class TEIT. That time I place all the roll numbers of your student in first column, name of all student in the second column, and address, phone numbers. This is a personal details table. But dear student, if I want to store your educational information also, means what? Your 10%, 12% or your diploma score or your first year, second year score, that time I make another table. But dear student, there also I make one roll number column. Means what? For one roll number there are 10th mark, 12th mark, and for I want to search a personal detail of that one roll number, then I come back to the first table. Means what? This is a interrelated data in a database. So data is a raw material or the facts. They are distributed in a multiple forms, but database is a collection of interrelated data and the set of program to access that data. Means I want to access a detail of the roll number 1. That time there is a set of programs to access the detail for the roll number 1. Then from if I want to personal detail, I search or query on a table 1. If I want their education of the roll number for the student roll number 1, that time I am going to the second table. This is set of program to access that data. So dear student, database is a collection of interrelated data and a set of program to access those data. Okay. Next, information. So dear student, meaningful or processed data is known as information. Again I repeat, before processing it is a data, and meaningful or processed data is known as information. Dear student, there is one is a data, but if I place that 1 in a relational table of column roll number, that 1 become a roll number for a specific student. That time that 1 becomes the information. Okay, so meaningful or processed data is known as information. We will see every point in detail also. This is only introductory part. Before processing, that is a data, and after processing you get a meaningful or processed data, it is known as information. Then now I want to ask you one question. Suppose you have a 10 friends and you want to store the phone number for that 10 friends. There are multiple ways to store this data in a database. First, I am writing all the 10 my 10 friends name with phone number on a one board. Second option, I bring a notebook from a store and write all the 10 friends name and number in my diary. Second, I can store that on a computer. How? I make one file, I store the detail in that file. So is this 3 options are feasible? Think on this. First option is write on a board. Yes, it is not feasible. Why? Because if I rough that board or flash out that board, that time from later on I'm not having that data with me. Second option, bring a notebook. Suppose I have a 10 friend, means less data. That time it is okay. But I have a 1000 friend. It is possible to write down name and phone number for 1000 friends and many more. If 2000 or 5000 friends, not. It is also not possible. Store in a computer. So this is the third option. I make one file and store the information in a computer. But this also having some drawback. We will see in a next section. That is file system. Therefore, dear student, suppose I want to store a name or phone number or roll number of name in a notepad file, means store in a computer. Now, dear student, this is one notepad file. I store this notepad file in my drive, right? So there is one specific path for this notepad file. If I save this notepad file on my drive or in my computer, that time all the managing tasks are done by my file system. Okay, so file system means what? Only I stored any information in file. This is known as file system? No. Whenever I buy any new computer, dear student, I install an operating system for my computer. That time I specify the drive storage, C drive, D drive, E drive, right? I create a different drive for my specific specificity. I create a different drive. This creation of drive is also known as file system. Okay, so on hard disk I create a multiple drives, right? And I store a different folder on that in that drive, and different file in that particular folder. This is known as a specific way to store and manage the data, and this storing and managing the data are the function of file system in a file system. Okay, means who manage the data in a file system? Yes, it's a file system own manage the data. Then, but in a next case, that is DBMS, that is database management system. So whenever I install a DBMS or I am working with DBMS, there is a no file system exist in your system? No. The answer is no. Why? Because still there is a file system. We are working on a hard disk also. We are working with multiple drives, E drive, D drive also, and we are working with a folder also. Means there is a file system exist whenever we are using DBMS, but there is a file system exist. But only the difference is managing of your data is not done by file system, it is done by DBMS its own. Okay, so suppose same data I stored using MySQL file, that time one table gets created. This is a relational database management system. One table gets created and only the location is set by file system, and all the managing of data is done by your DBMS. Then okay, so there are some purpose of database management system. We cover all this point in our next video. This is for only introductory part of database management. You only remember that database management system is the system to manage the data. Okay, means in a file system, user are directly connected with the data. User are known the location where you store your file, notepad file. But dear student, whenever you are working with a DBMS, that time one module, that is database management system, is placed between user and data. Your all data gets managed by this system, database management system. You need not care about where data gets stored. This is the basic difference between file system and database management system. That is, in a before a database management system, user or file system manages the data, means they are working actually on every aspects of data. But whenever I use a DBMS manages your data. User are deal with a database management system, and database management system ahead deal with the data. Okay, so this is all for today's introductory lecture. In the next lecture, we see the difference between file system and DBMS, application of DBMS, and what is relational database management system in detail. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you all.